Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. If you're coming on, I want you to do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know your boy and my squad. We're live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Millionaire Monday. Happy Millionaire Monday. Literally, my favorite work day of the week is Monday because I get to set the trajectory for what an amazing week I am going to have. And my hope and expectation is that today has been amazing for you so far. If you're coming on, please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody and let them know the Ramon Preston Show is live. Today we're going to be talking about the power of a holding company. And I'm asking a very critical question that you may be asking yourself. Maybe other people are giving you different answers. And so we're going to clarify and qualify the critical question. And that question is this: should you start a holding company? Should you start a holding company? So please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody and let them know we're live. Be sure to put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from. Put in the comments what city you're watching me from. Hopefully by now you've subscribed to my YouTube page. If you ain't subscribed to my YouTube page, I don't know what's going on. I mean, come on. We have almost 2,000 videos on YouTube alone. And many of these videos are centered around holding companies, entrepreneurship, starting and structuring businesses, financial literacy. We've got some ministry and leadership and life videos on there. We cover all spectrums of everything that you're doing in every area of your life. But most of the content that I have on my YouTube page is content that's centered around what I love to do, and that's teach and train and equip and inspire people like you to take your lives to the next level, whether it's your financial life, your spiritual life, your professional life, your physical life, your mental life, every area of your life. So please put in the comments what city you're watching me from, and we're going to have an amazing show today. So welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. Just in case you don't know, now you know. I'm your host, Ramon Preston, and every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, I mean literally in the middle of the day, we be in here grinding and working and doing what we do every day. And when 11:50 comes, I start making preparation to come over here in the studio and to prepare to give you some information that I know can help you. And so every Monday through Friday, right here, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, I show up live on the Ramon Preston Show to give information to you, to give value to you with things that I know can help you start, structure, and scale your business. Maybe you have a ministry, or maybe you're just the breadwinner of your family and you're looking for creative ways to start, structure, and scale your finances. Everything that I share with you on this show, number one, is a reflection of my life. So I don't give what I don't live. Everything I give, I live. So you can be assured that when I share something with you on this show, I'm living it. I'm living it, and I'm seeing the success of it. So I've had to start, structure, and scale my own business. So proof got to be in the pudding. And everything that I share is not just a reflection of my life and who I am, but it's what we do here at Ramon Preston Enterprises. Just in case you don't know, we have a business and financial consulting, coaching, and educational company. So we have business and financial consulting services that we provide for people or companies or organizations that need business and financial consulting. We have a one-year business coaching program called the Millionaire Mentorship Program. That's our one-year coaching program. And we have a business and financial educational program called the Millionaire Blueprint. And it's literally my personal playbook. It's a blueprint to teach you about how to start and structure holding companies, how to develop the right creative tax strategies, how to sell and market yourself, and we teach you about entrepreneurship and financial literacy. We have some real estate investment courses in this program. We have courses on goal setting and scheduling. Everything that you need is it is a comprehensive business and financial training program. So I'm saying all this not to gas you up on what I'm doing. I'm saying all this because I want you to know when you see me on this show and I'm in front of this Google board and I'm giving you the game, I'm giving you stuff that I know works. It's working in my life. My staff uses the same information. They are obligated. They are required to train every day. And they don't just train on one subject. They train on 3 or 4 different subjects every day. And we all make sure that we live what I'm sharing with you. And we have clients, we have students, we have people who are a part of our programs who use this information every day, and it's changing and transforming so many people's lives. And so I want to say thank you for joining the show today. The question is, should you start a holding company? That's the critical question. Should you start a holding company? Okay? Now, there's a lot of information on the internet, okay? But a lot of this information that you get on the internet, number one, is not accurate, okay? And number two, it's just based on theories and ideals that certain people share, but they're not literally doing what they're talking about. So I'm telling you what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, I just got off the phone with my tax strategist probably about 15 minutes ago, and we were on the phone forecasting and projecting and thinking about what the remainder of the year is going to be, what we did last year, what we plan on doing next year, because these are the kind of conversations you have when you build the right infrastructure and when you start seeing certain financial success. You're going to have these questions, and you're going to have these types of people to give you the answers. And so I need to be one of those people that you have in your credibility kit as well. So I'm going to answer the question, but I'm going to answer it in multiple ways. Should you start a holding company? Okay. Well, let me say it this way. A holding company is really a LLC. I mean, of course, it can be an S Corp or a C Corp, but typically when somebody starts a business, they start a LLC in today's world, especially because LLCs can be changed and treated like different entities. But to simplify this answer as best as I can, when someone starts a business, especially if you're in business, when you started a business, you probably started an LLC. Well, when you start a holding company, you're going to pretty much do the same thing. The only difference is you're probably going to categorize it different depending on what state you're in. You're going to have different language in your operating agreement. And the biggest difference between your LLC as a business that you're just selling products and services and your LLC as a holding company, one of the biggest differences is how you use it, how you're actually using it on a day-to-day basis. So if you're educated on a holding company, if you know what the purpose of a holding company is and what the advantages of having it are, then you're going to be using it that way, as opposed to just having an LLC and having products and services and you're just using that LLC to sell your products and services. But my answer to simplify it is yes, you should start a holding company. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because if you are in business already, okay, if you already in business, if you got an LLC, well, it's like a no-brainer for you to say, yes, you should start a holding company. And a lot of times people who are telling you that you shouldn't start a holding company, they're probably saying it because they feel like it's too complicated. You don't need that much going on. You just getting started and your business really don't need it. Well, it's not that they're wrong, they're right. But it doesn't mean you're wrong just because you want to do it the right way the first time. See, I'm one of those people. I want to know what the bigger picture is, and I want to know what I need to do in order to qualify for the bigger picture. So for example, if somebody sat down with me and told me, listen, Ramon, you don't need a holding company right now. All you need is a regular LLC. You just need to sell products and services, make money, and then when you get to a certain financial place, then you can reorganize and restructure your business and start an LLC. I'm the kind of person, the first thing I'm gonna say to them is, oh, okay, so when I become a millionaire, or when I have enough money coming in, what will I need to do? I just want to know. Oh, well, here's what you would need to do. You would need to take your current LLC and you would need to transfer the ownership to a new LLC, which would be your parent company, so that now you can start building out other assets like real estate companies or any other companies. I would just want to know that, just because it frees me up and opens me up to the possibilities of what I can do if I keep going. Now you're probably just like me. That's why you like listening to this stuff, because you probably like, yeah, I want to know that. Even though I'm right here just with one business, even though I'm just trying to get my business going, I still want to know all these ins and outs, because it motivates you. It inspires you. It gives you a bigger picture. It shows you the light at the end of the tunnel. So when somebody says you don't need all this in terms of a holding company at the starting point, I'm not saying they wrong. That's their opinion. That's their opinion. They are free to have an opinion, but it doesn't mean you can't have this. It doesn't mean this won't benefit you. It doesn't mean it's gonna hurt you, because you already gonna have an LLC anyway. All I'm saying is, yes, you should start a holding company, even though you have a LLC that you want to start so that you could get out there and sell products and services. The only difference is, instead of you saying you're going to be right here owning it, all you're saying is you're going to put another company in between you and there, and you're going to let the company own it, so that you can already be structured and set up in a way that you're able to grow exponentially and do it the way you want to do it. And if you have certain assets within this business here, you can separate those assets, whether it's intellectual property, copyrights, trademarks, whether it's books or curriculum or whatever it is. You're free to do it because you set it up that way. Now, of course, it could be easier if you didn't do it that way, but guess what? You're still going to have to learn to run this company, even if you didn't have the LLC on top of it. Even if this wasn't here, you still got to learn systems, processes, managing the day-to-day operations. You got to learn how to build it out. You got to learn how to separate certain things. So you're still going to learn it. So my answer is a unequivocal yes. All right? Yes. Should you start a holding company? Yes. Now let me give you a few reasons why I say you should start one. Number one, write it down. Any business that you start, but definitely when you start a holding company, when you structure this kind of business here, and you've got like entities under it, when you create this type of structure, you're really creating a legacy. You're really creating a legacy. And I don't care what nobody thinks about that. Because again, the people who are winning, that's who you want to look at. You want to look at companies that are winning. You want to look at Amazon. You want to look at Walton Enterprises. You want to look at JP Morgan. You want to look at Johnson & Johnson. You want to look at all these bigger companies that are doing massive things on this planet. All of them have their companies set up that way. They have parent companies. They have divisions within their parent companies, and they have subsidiaries. That's just the way it is. So they may have one parent company at the top. They may have multiple. And some of these bigger companies, it could be hundreds or thousands of divisions. And then within those divisions, they got subsidiaries, wholly owned. So all these big winning companies have their setup that way. And then you may have one person, or maybe you have a couple, or maybe you have a family at the top who manages this parent company, because this parent company is actually the manager or the asset manager of these other subsidiaries. So if the bigger companies are doing it, why you can't do it? If Amazon is doing it, why you can't doing it? Why you can't do it? And so the first reason why I'm saying you should start one is because it's your legacy. That's your legacy. Your business is your legacy. But especially when you put your business together this way, using that type of concept of a holding company, it's really your legacy. Because now you're creating something that's going to outlive you, but it's not limited to you or to the one thing that you're doing at this point in your life. So when you're ready to pivot into other things, when you're ready to branch out and to do other things, you've already set your infrastructure up that it's easier to do that, and you don't have to keep hitting pause and rinse and repeat and reset. You ain't got to do that because you got your infrastructure set up the right way. So I would say the first reason why you should start a holding company is your holding company is your legacy company. Now, if you follow me enough and you listen to the things that I teach when it comes to holding companies, you're probably aware of, or if you're not, once you keep listening to me, you're going to be aware of the fact that when I say your holding company is your legacy company, I'm also thinking about how you name your holding company. Because again, some of the names that I just mentioned are holding companies, but these are the names of the people who created them because they're legacy companies, and the legacy is in the name. So Ramon Preston is a name. Okay, Ramon Preston Enterprises is a name. It is a business that has the name of the person who is building it and who is like the legacy builder of this business enterprise, if that makes sense. So if you're the legacy builder and the company holds your name or your last name or your maiden name or the acronym or abbreviation of your name or whatever it is, then that company becomes a real legacy company. Like Johnson & Johnson, that's a family. It's a legacy company. Campbell Soup, that's a family. It's a legacy company. JP Morgan, Keller Williams, like all of these names of these companies. And now don't just be saying, yeah, but they billion-dollar companies. So what? You might be $1,000 company, but it don't mean you can't be a billion-dollar company. And here's the truth. At some point, they were a $1,000 company. Whether it was 100 years ago or 38 years ago, they were still $1,000 companies. They still had to start from scratch. Of course, depending on what time what time on earth they was here and who they were connected to. There ain't no comparison now, especially if you're part of communities like mine. We got to scrap, as a young black man, with no background in business and a horrible background in the streets and crime and all those things that I grew up experiencing with no education. I didn't have those resources. So that means even more to me to have a holding company that I can build as a legacy company, even though I have operations that are going on under it. So that's the first reason, okay? Number two, what's another reason why you should start a holding company? Well, a lot of people are talking about it now, and you're going to keep hearing people talk about it at least for the next several years. It's called the Great Wealth Transfer. This is one of the reasons why you want to have your company set up. I'm starting to hear this conversation more because I get a lot of people that reach out to me, right? And sometimes when I'm talking to these people over the phone, whether you email us, whether you call in, whether you text something you respond to on a video, a lot of people I'm talking to, they're starting to see that, man, ever since COVID happened, things are changing. And now they don't have a lot of confidence in their jobs. They don't have a lot of confidence in their future in terms of like Social Security and retirements and pensions. And now people starting to see that they need to put themselves in a better position. And if you're going to put yourself in a better position, you don't just need to be doing something as a hobby. You don't just need to be doing something as a side hustle. You don't need to be that person around here just thinking that at some point things going to change, and they don't change, okay? And the reason why they ain't changing because you ain't doing your due diligence by starting the right infrastructure. So the second reason for me to say yes to why you should start a holding company is because of this great wealth transfer that's taking place right now. So they're estimating. And when I say they estimating, I'm talking about like global economists, experts, people who are connected to these big institutions. These people have algorithms, they got technology, they got intelligence to know what's happening. These people ain't stupid. They know what's happening. And a lot of these people are telling us that between now and 2030, we're talking about within the next 8 years, they are estimating within the next 8 years that at least 30 to 40 trillion dollars is going to be transferred to this generation. So they're estimating that this baby boomer generation, we're talking about the generation of 60, 70, 80-year-olds, that they're going to be transferring their wealth in the next 8 years, because a lot of them want to retire. A lot of them want to just enjoy life. A lot of them don't want to work hard and grind like some of us 30, 40-year-olds are doing. You know what I mean? I'm in my 40s, so I'm still like, you can't tell me I ain't 22. So I wake up every day. I want to beat the sun up. I want to grind and go hard like I'm 22, because I'm feeling like I'm just getting started. Well, a lot of the wealth transfer that's taking place is being transferred to our generation. So they're estimating that between 2022 and 2030, there may be 30 to 40 trillion trillion dollars transferred to us. They're also projecting between 2030 and maybe 2050, it may be another 30 or 40. So we're talking about like within a 30-year window, it's probably going to be like $75 trillion transferred in the next 30 years to the generation that's running businesses. Well, how is that wealth going to be transferred? Do you think somebody going to just transfer you $10 billion in cash? Do you think somebody going to just write you a check and give you $100 million? Do you think somebody's just going to just give you $1 million in cash? Come on, it ain't happening like that. This ain't our great grandma them generation where they going to the mattress and they pulling out $100 million, or grandma going in her billfold. It ain't happening like that. This wealth transfer is taking place through business systems, through entities. Okay, it's not person to person as much as it's entity to entity, for many different reasons. A lot of reasons is centered around the tax implication. They don't want to pay taxes. It could be estate taxes. It could be capital gains taxes. It could whatever the taxes are. People don't want to pay these taxes. And they don't want you and I to be taxed. They want to transfer that wealth. So a lot of businesses are being transferred to other people. A lot of entities are being transferred. You just got to get in the game. And you got to understand this stuff. And you can't just keep sitting on the sideline thinking that at some point it's going to happen for you. It don't work like that. And I'm a man of God. I'm an apostle. I'm a prophet. I'm a preacher. I love the church. I love God. I love his people. I love everything I do as a preacher. But I'm telling you now, a lot of this sitting on the sideline and you just crossing your fingers and praying and just hoping that God just touch somebody's heart and just do something for you. A lot of that stuff ain't even godly. It ain't biblical. It don't even make sense. It's goofy. Not only is it not godly, it's goofy. But what's really godly, what's really biblical, is you taking what God has given to you. This is what he says in Deuteronomy 8:18. For it is God that gives you and I the power to get wealth. So he's given me the power to go get it. Well, one of the ways that I use that power is by creating the right entities, the right infrastructures that can house the wealth when the wealth shows up. You get what I'm saying? So that's my number 2 reason. Number three, I'm going to say, I got so many reasons. I call this the 4 P's. This is the 4 P's. And by the way, all this information that I'm sharing with you, I teach all this. I got all this in my programs. I give this to all my students. So if you're a part of my Millionaire Blueprint, educational program, you got access to this information. If you're in my coaching program, you get access to this information because you need to learn it and you need to be able to use it. So you're not just getting educated. That's why it's more training for me, because I want to train you. I want to give you the information, but then I want to show you how do you use it. How do you use it? Because that's always been an issue for me. When somebody telling me what I need to do, but ain't telling me how to do it, I'm like, show me how to do it so I can do it. Because once you show me how to do it, now it's on me. Now it's on me. If you give me a car and you say, you need to drive this car, you need to use this car to get to the other side of town, but I don't know how to drive it, it's going to be hard for me. I got to learn and study and I got to go through some training. But once I get it, I got it. And so the 4 P's, this is another reason why I say, yes, you should start a holding company. These are the 4 P's, okay? Let me put these at the top so I can share them with you, okay? The 4 P's, that's what I call them, the 4 P's. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, protection. So your holding company is going to provide protection. It's going to provide a lot of protection, especially if you got an operating company out there doing business. Preservation. It provides a level of preservation. What do you mean by preservation? Well, you can preserve the integrity of your assets when you have them separate. When you don't have all your assets bundled up in one business or entity, you preserve the integrity of them. So a lot of times people lose their assets because they got all their assets exposed either in one business or in no business. So a lot of families go through this. A lot of families, grandma or somebody, a parent, they have a will, but then when they die, they go into probate court. Now the judge is saying you shouldn't get this, the nephew should get that, the great grandchild should get that. All these things are happening because you didn't preserve it correctly in the right business system. Number 3, production. When you have a holding company, you can produce more results, and you're probably going to produce more results quicker. So it's kind of like acceleration. You can accelerate your business value. You can accelerate your business activity when you separate things correctly under your parent or umbrella company. And number 4, the other P, is purchasing power. That's another benefit, because when you have multiple entities and operations with these activities going on under your umbrella company and you're making money, you have more purchasing power. It's kind of like if you have one entity, let's say if you got like 5 entities and all of them are making like $20,000, right? Well, that's $100,000 among all 5 of them, but they're all separate. So it's really not like they're all under one. But if you got one entity and that one entity owns 5 and all 5 make 20,000, well, that one entity actually can show its subsidiaries brought in 100,000. And the value of that one entity based on those 5 $20,000 entities is probably going to be 2 to 3 times more. That entity might be worth 300 grand just because 5 of them made 100. Now, of course, you can do it with one entity. But again, it just depends on what type of game you want to play. When you want to play that wealth game and you really want to put yourself in a position where you start growing so that you can be real successful and solid, you're going to want to do this. So those are the 4 P's. Let me keep going. All right. So I've given you 3 reasons already. Here's number 4. The 4th reason why I say yes to you starting a holding company is called consolidation. Consolidation, and these are some big words. Centralization. Now I'm getting a little deep. I'm getting a little sophisticated with you now. So I'm going to try to explain this just in the few minutes that I have. And again, if you feel like I'm rushing through it, understand that I only have a little bit of time on this show. And I'm sharing information with you that's valuable because people pay me thousands of dollars, some tens of thousands of dollars to get this information and for us to help them with building these types of infrastructures, and I'm giving it to you for free. But this is basically the fourth reason why I'm saying you should start a holding company, because of consolidation and centralization. So how do you consolidate things? Well, when you're doing your taxes are going to be consolidated. If all your entities are owned by one entity, it all flows up to the one entity, and then through that one entity up to you. So it's going to be easy, okay? But you're also consolidating how you run your organization. Because if you own multiple businesses right now that are not under a holding company, you probably confused, you probably scramble, you probably don't have QuickBooks and systems for all of them. You don't even know where to go. You just like, I got all these EIN numbers and all these Secretary of State papers, and I don't even know what to do because it's not consolidated. And then it provides centralization. So now everything becomes centralized because it has a house, it has a home. And this needs to be the home. You need to be at the top of that one. And then if you got multiple entities, no matter how many entities you got, if you got multiple entities or divisions, even if they're not entities, but if you do have entities and you got one here and you got 2, 3, entity number 4, entity number 5, just that picture, as worse as I am as a drawer, you still see how it's all consolidated and it's centralized. Now it makes it easier for you to figure this one out, because when you figure this out, all you're doing is just duplicating that in the other ones. So when I say figure it out, I'm talking about when you have QuickBooks, financial systems, operational systems, sales or marketing systems. If you figure it out here, all you're doing is just duplicating it there, and there, and it's all consolidated and centralized. It just makes it easy. All right, number 5. This is my last one right here. 5th reason why I say yes to you starting a holding company. It's called allocation. And I'm just giving you some big words, so don't get scared of them. Allocation and distribution. And again, if you're not familiar with all this stuff that I'm talking about, all it means is you just need to lean in, plug in, and get this information. You just need access to it. You just have to accept that, you know what, I don't know enough. I just don't know enough to know what I'm doing. Because there was a time I had to do that, and I still do it. Like, there are still things that I'm working on doing, and I wake up and I'm like, man, I just don't know enough. I got to get more information. I got to study more. I got to pay for more courses. I need more coaching. I need more professionals. I need to get in the right rooms. You got to do it if you want to be successful. Now, if you don't want success, if you don't want to be a millionaire, if you don't want any type of financial freedom, then nothing I'm saying to you matters. But if you do, if you have the slightest inclination of wanting to be successful, you got to get this information. This is going to be critical. I keep telling y'all, holding companies and tax strategies are going to be the 2 main things you got to learn after you learn the sales and marketing game. After you learn, that's why everything that I do, I package all them together. So in my training program, I have sales, marketing information, holding company, financial information. In my coaching program, any program that I got those in there, because you got to get those. Because you got to learn how to sell. You got to learn how to make money. You got to learn how to market yourself and get out there and make yourself known. But once you start making money, whether you got a business set up or not, you're going to have to learn the holding company thing and the tax thing. You got to get it. There's no other way around it. So here's the 5th reason. Allocation. What do you mean allocation? Distribution. I'm going to make it easy for you. I'll give you this picture one more time. So you have entity number 1 right here. And you own that. This is your holding company. All right? And let's say you got entity number 2 here. And entity number 2 starts making a whole lot of money. Well, guess what? While this entity is making money, this entity here controls what this entity does because it's owned by entity number 1. Do you see that? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So while you're in your calendar year, we're talking about between January and December, and this entity is making a lot of money, even if it's just one entity, but because it's owned by this entity, well, this entity can take money as a distribution or owner's draw because this entity has the right to do it. And then when this entity has the money, this entity can come over here and maybe start another entity, whether it's a real estate company, purchasing real estate, or whatever it is. But it just took money and allocated or reallocated it and distributed it somewhere else within it rather than taking it out and being taxed on it. It took it, moved it around so that it can grow and continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow even before any money came out to this person and was taxed. That's what the bigger companies do. That's how they end up not paying any taxes, because they understand these types of principles, practices. They live by these and they use them every day to continue to build massive wealth. And you gotta do the same thing. Or you could just sit on the sidelines and complain. Or you could sit on the sidelines and not complain, but be sad and mad and upset, or just depressed and disappointed because you're not playing the same game. Well, you can only play the game when you learn the game. Once you learn the game, it's easier to play the game. So I'm giving you an opportunity to reach out to me because, again, I've got a 1-year educational program for business and finance, teaching all of these principles and way more. It's called the Millionaire Blueprint. So I'm giving you a blueprint on how you can become a millionaire. So if you are at a point in your life where you're like I was at a certain point in my life, I was at a point in my life where I didn't know if I could become a millionaire. I didn't know if I could have a successful business. I didn't even know I could be out of debt and be financially free. I just didn't think it was going to happen for me. But I had to get to a point to where I started realizing the reason why I don't believe it and I think it won't happen for me is because of the information that I didn't have. I didn't know how to do it. And so I had to suffer and sacrifice a lot to learn the things that I teach you and I share with you, because nobody gave this information to me. And at the time, I really didn't have a lot of resources. I started as an entrepreneur 20 years ago. My wife and I, we got married 19 years ago, and we both committed that we was going to be full-time entrepreneurs. It was the hardest thing because I didn't have anything and I had to scrap. But what I did have was resilience. I had this hustle in me because that's how I grew up. I grew up knowing how to scrap and get out there and make it happen every day and survive, especially coming from being in the streets and selling dope and being an addict and going in and out of jail and being a street hustler. You learn stuff in that college that you don't learn in regular college. And that's what really built this muscle in me. But even though I had that grit and that grind and that hustle, I didn't have the right information. Once I started learning about wealth building, once I started learning about holding companies and tax strategies and all of these business and financial principles, and once I started putting them to practice, I started seeing something different. And I realized real quick, oh my God, this thing is going to work and I'm going to get behind this thing. And I made a commitment that I was going to provide that information to my people. I made a commitment to God, to myself and my family, that I was going to build platforms to help people have access to this type of information. And if they need the coaching and support, I would give them access to that as well. So we have a signature program called the Millionaire Blueprint. It's really all you would need to build a solid framework and foundation for having a successful business. Because we teach you how to start and structure holding companies. We have walkthrough video tutorials to show you the ins and outs of how to build it, how to run it, how to start subsidiaries, how to create divisions. We show you how to take those tax strategies and integrate them into your business. We show you how to take the right systems and processes and integrate them. We teach you financial literacy, entrepreneurship. We show you how to be a successful business owner. That's what our online training program. It has documents, forms, and hundreds of video training lessons done by me. I'm in front of you every day teaching you these principles. Imagine that. And you get access to it for 1 year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever done. We also have a 1-year millionaire mentorship program. It's our coaching program. So it includes the training, but it also includes one-on-one coaching, weekly coaching calls, workshops every quarter that we host. It includes having access to my team if you need questions answered. So it's an amazing opportunity for you to take your business and your finances to the next level. So if you want to know more about it, or you might have watched enough videos to say, man, the dude know what he talking about. Like, he ain't on here capping. He can't be lying. He knows too much. Okay? If you want more information, all you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. That's all you need to do, is just text that word. One of the reasons why I like for you to text millionaire is because I want you to text what you gonna be. I want you to believe, you know what? I'm a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. This guy's gonna help me become a millionaire. And number two, I want you to do some work. I want you to get involved. I want you to build that muscle to say, you know what? I'm gonna text him. And when you text, we're gonna reach back out to you. And we're gonna talk to you about where you are in your business, in your finances, where you wanna go, and what programs we have that can help you get there. It's just as simple as that. All that other stuff is for the birds. I ain't got time for all that. I'm a realist. I keep it 100, and I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna give it to you like it is. And so here's what we have, here's what we do, and we know where you are and where you wanna go. Here's what we have and what we do that can help you get there. Now you say yes or no, okay? You say yes, we get you onboarded, we get you plugged in, and we get you going to your next level. Simple as that. So text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. And please, please do me a favor. Put in the comments what your biggest takeaway is from today's show. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is. Like, what was the big thing you learned? Maybe it's a couple things, but I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is from today's show. Just drop it in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions, just put the questions in the comments, and we'll come back around and we'll answer those questions on our next show. But please let me know what your biggest takeaway is, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page, okay? I want you to subscribe to my YouTube page, because we are in the process of approaching 10,000 subscribers. Okay, Mr. Cash, I see you on YouTube. He says, good morning, joining you here from Anchorage, Alaska. Thank you for the knowledge. God bless. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate you for watching the show. Mr. Bean Ally, I think that's it, right? Allie, I know we talked earlier. Good to have you on here today, and looking forward to working with you, man. Looking forward to helping you get to the next level. So let's pull that trigger. Let's make it happen, and let's push you to the next level. So these are principles and practices that are helping so many people. Like, I'm gonna do a show one day. I'm still working on building my studio out, but one day I'm gonna do a show, and I'm gonna have some of our clients join me on the show. I'm just still working out the logistics, because we got like equipment in my other room right here we still working on. But okay, Bean Alley. I'm talking about Ally. Oh my God, that's funny. But I'm working on it. But I just can't wait until I can share the success stories and the testimonies of the people that are currently either training online or in our coaching program. I mean, we have people that are in all of our programs. We have 5 programs. We have 2 signature programs. The Millionaire Blueprint is the training. The Millionaire Mentorship is our coaching. And then we have 3 other programs. We have a certification for coaches and consultants. So we have an entire program that we train you to be a coach and a consultant, we have a program called the Business Incubator. And this is a 1-year consulting program where we don't just coach you, but we actually consult you. We work with you for an entire year. We help you build out your systems and processes. So like any consultant firm will do, a consultant is a little different than a coach, where the coach is on the sideline helping you call the plays, giving you the information, making sure you run your plays and your audibles, and we're seeing to it that you understand the playbook. The consultant is different in that they get in with you to help you build it out, to make sure. And so what we do in our incubator is we sit down with our clients, we go over their QuickBooks to make sure that it's correct. We go over their sales systems, if they're putting that together, their marketing systems, their operational systems. We educate them and train them on how to build their business systems out and processes. We show them how to put their processes together so that they can track everything that they're doing in their business. We help them with their vision, their mission, their core values. We help them with their KPIs. We help them with all of their metrics and measurements for their company so that they can be able to know what everything is doing and the revenue impact that they're having. So very sophisticated, but very powerful. We also have a licensing program. Our licensing program, we have licensees who literally have a business in the box that they pay for. So they have bought a license and they're able to use all of our curriculum, all of our content. They're able to sell or resell our digital programs and make money. So it's a powerful community that we're building. And I would love for you to be a part of it. Okay, I see you, man. Come on through here. Luis Chavez, thank you, from Naples, Florida. All right, I'm glad that you came on. So those are the 5 reasons, y'all, I gave you today why you should start a holding company, okay? And you should have your holding company set up. If you don't have your holding company set up, you don't have your subsidiary set up, you don't have your systems and processes set up, you need to get that information, start training so that you can get it set up, okay? So I'll go over it one more time. I gave you 5. I gave you 5 reasons why I'm saying yes to starting a holding company. It's your legacy. The sooner you do it, the better off you're going to be. There's a great wealth transfer taking place right now, and they're projecting within the next 8 years, at least $30 trillion is going to be transferred. But the baby boomers who are transferring their wealth to this current generation, they're not transferring the wealth to people. It's entities that are getting that. It's entities. You got to understand that. The next one was the 4 Ps. So all of this information is in my Millionaire Blueprint. The 4 Ps: protection, preservation, production, and purchasing power. Number 4 was consolidation and centralization. So you want to centralize all your operations, and you want to consolidate everything, especially when you start doing your taxes. Yes, Mr. Cash, the question was, do these principles apply to building a ministry? Yeah, they do. I have a ministry. I have a nonprofit organization. And so these same principles apply to a ministry, because you have to build your ministry out. You have to be at the top of your ministry as the CEO. You have to have departments, which are versions of business divisions. You have to have other in-reach and outreach ministries or projects and initiatives that would symbolize subsidiaries. And you have to have the right systems and processes for that nonprofit organization to work, okay? And then this one is allocation and distribution. So it's going to be hard for you to, like, the biggest thing with number 5 is you're going to lower your tax bill, okay? So to the gentleman that asked a question about the ministry, that's exactly what you want to do, because your ministry is going to be set up pretty much the same way. You're going to have your ministry. You're going to be at the top. It doesn't matter if this first one here is a non-profit or for-profit. It doesn't matter. So for me, I have both. Okay? So my organization is set up like this. I got a for-profit organization here as a holding company, and then I got a non-profit. So they're separate, but they function very similar, because now I have divisions. These are just operational departments. Well, in my nonprofit, guess what I have? I've got divisions. These are departments or auxiliaries. So my nonprofit organization is called Next Level Ministries Incorporated. Under Next Level Ministries, we've got Ramon Preston Ministries, we got Next Level Church, we got prison ministries, we got children ministries, we got community outreach ministries, we got youth programs, we got all nursing home programs, we have certain initiatives for our leadership academy, we have a ministers training program, we got a school of prophets. So you build these things out the same way. The only difference is when your nonprofit is a 501c3, you don't necessarily have to separate them in separate entities unless you're going to start like a CDC, like a community development corporation, and you want that to be a separate entity, because this is going to be an entity that you typically get grants for. And it could be this company, this entity that you get grants for, depending on how you build it. But your for-profit is the same. You got your divisions, then you got your subsidiaries, and your subsidiaries are going to be separate entities, but they're all owned by the main entity. When you build this type of infrastructure, you just simplify the process and make your life easier, and you can accelerate your wealth. You can accelerate your wealth. So I want you to reach out to me as soon as you possibly can. Text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. And when you have time, I want you to visit, be sure to visit my website, okay? You could go to RamonPreston.com. I'm pulling it up right here, RamonPreston.com, and all this information that I'm sharing with you, you'll find it on my website. You'll find right here, RamonPreston.com. We got 5-star reviews. We got about 27 reviews on this one here for Google. But if you go to my website, it's going to take you to our main web hub if we get an internet. Yeah, there you go. And you just need to go, this is our main page right here. You'll see our Millionaire Blueprint. You'll see our licensing program. You'll see our business certification program, our Millionaire Blueprint. You can see this information. We share information with you about how we coach and consult, the process that we use. So we have a specific process that we use to coach you and to consult you to make sure that you're getting the results. And we'll walk you through each step when you join our coaching program. When you go to the menu, you'll see all of our different programs. We have a real estate investment company that we just launched. But all you have to do is click on one of them, and it'll take you to our university training platform, Ramon Preston University. And if you clicked on the Millionaire Blueprint, any program you click on, you're going to be able to see what the program is, what all the benefits of this program are, and you're able to see all the courses that we have in this program. These are the courses that we're talking about right here. There's a creative tax course. There's our that's our holding company course right here. If you clicked on this holding company course, it'll literally show you all the modules. Like, you'll see what you're going to learn. The power of a holding company, understanding a holding company, 5 reasons for starting one. We just talked about that. 5 ways to make money through a holding company. 5 common documents for a holding company. Asset purchase agreement, equipment lease agreement, operating agreement. We teach on this SMS matrix. It's a concept that I put together. We answer about 50 questions just in this course here, how to manage the day-to-day operations of a holding company. We have a whole startup kit to show you. We have walkthrough videos to show you how to actually do it yourself, or to at least know how to do it, even if you pay somebody else to do it. So reach out to me, text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. I would love to speak with you, answer any questions you have, and really get you plugged in so that you can start educating yourself on these principles that are gonna make a lot of people wealthy in the next couple years, by the way. I'm telling you, it's a lot of people who are gonna come out of this season we're in as multi-millionaires, billionaires, because they took these principles and concepts and they built infrastructures and they put products and services and ideas within those infrastructures, and they accelerated to massive wealth. So I want that to be you, and I want to be a part of that process. So please text the word millionaire, and I look forward to speaking with you and answering any questions that you may have. So I love all of you, appreciate you. I'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, right here on the Ramon Preston Show.